right, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Muckin N Grindin. Big free agency day today. It started at noon. Penguins made a couple moves, signing center left wing Mark Jankowski. He's 26 years old to a 1 year, $700,000 deal. It's league minimum. Bringing back Evan Rodriguez, who's a center and left winger. It's $700,000. League minimum. He's 27 years old. Not exactly sure what the thought process was with the Rodriguez thing. I know he's a hard worker. He's a good penalty killer. Good. Now you have Teddy Bluger, Sam Lafferty, Mark Jankowski, Evan Rodriguez, Anthony Angelo, Jared McCann, all his third and fourth line centers. I mean, your bottom six forwards still need some work. I know you got to get guys on cheap. It is what it is. There's not too much you can do about that. GM JR has a plan with Mike Sullivan. Those are the guys that the Penguins dealt with today. Let's go. We're going to go over notables making a splash in free agency. Matt Murray signed a 4-year deal worth $6.25 million per year extension with Ottawa. Look at through Cap Friendly, the most amazing site there is for like the GMs in the NHL do use this. You can see it on their big board whenever things are COVID related. Go down the list. Stefan Noesen signs with the San Jose Sharks, 1 year, $925,000. I thought the Penguins could have tried to get that speedy winger in here, but guess not. Jacob Markstrom, who's 30 years old, goaltender, signs with the Calgary Flames for 6 years and $6 million a season. We'll go down this list a little further. Look to see who, since everybody signed somebody today, it seems. Justin Schultz signed with the Washington Capitals, 2 years, $4 million a season. It's a little steep. Kevin Shattenkirk signed with Anaheim, 3 years, $3.9 million. Shattenkirk's a lot better defenseman than Justin Schultz. Around about the same age, 30 and 31, respectively. Shattenkirk just come off of a Stanley Cup championship. To get $3.9 million is a bargain for Anaheim, actually. Jack Johnson's everybody's favorite whipping boy, besides Matt Murray, signed with the New York Rangers for a 1-year deal, $1.15 million. Mark Jankowski, Evan Rodriguez, Matt Murray's is 4 years, $25 million total, $6.25 million per season. Alexander Wenberg, who was released or put on waivers by Columbus, I honestly thought the Penguins should have took a waiver on him. He signed a 1-year deal for $2.25 with Florida. Anton Hudobin, who carried the Dallas Stars through to the Stanley Cup Finals against Tampa Bay, he gets a 3-year contract with Dallas at $3.333 million per season. Braden Holtby signed with the Vancouver Canucks for a 2-year deal with $4.3 million. Henrik Lundqvist, whose 17-year tenure with the New York Rangers came to an end. He's 38 years old. He signed with the Washington Capitals, a 1-year deal at $1.5 million. It's quite a bargain. Kyle Turris, who some guys on the page said that they would like to see him here. He's 31 years old. He's kind of on the down slope of that 31. He's a standard center, signed with Edmonton for 2 years and $1.65 million. He took a pay cut because he's getting cap money from being bought out. Cam Talbot, former Edmonton goaltender, signed. He's 33, signed with the Minnesota Wild, 3 years, $3.7 million. Dominic Kubalik, one of the up-and-coming stars that are with the Chicago Blackhawks, re-upped for 2 years and $3.7 million. Let's see. Ratko Gudas, who supposedly by Penguins writers and beat writers in Pittsburgh, supposedly is the replacement for Mike Matheson, who is now here, signed with Florida, 3 years, $2.5 million per. See, Zemgus Girgensons is a 26-year-old center from Buffalo. I thought was going to actually hit the free agent market. He signed today with Buffalo. He re-signed 3 year, $2.2 million. I thought he would be a good fit here. He's got good speed. He's a great penalty killer. He's got some scoring touch. Keep going down. Josh Anderson got himself a 7-year extension after being traded to Montreal for Max Domi. He's got a 7-year deal worth $38.5 million at $5.5 million per season. Max Domi, who was traded to Columbus, got himself a 2-year contract extension with Columbus at $5.3 million per season. Let's see who any other big names. Brendan Dillon re-signed with Washington 4 years at $15.6 million at $3.9 a season. Sebastian Aho, who they have him as, I think this is a little bit of a typo. Yeah, there's definitely a typo because he is not a defenseman and he did not sign with the New York Islanders as a defenseman for $725,000 a year. It's be a little insane. Let's go back to where I was on this list. Like I said, this cap-friendly site is amazing to have. Once I get back down to a certain point, we'll go ahead and we'll get to it's Tristan Jarry's contract is $10.5 million, $3.5 a season. Also, we will do a little talk about the Penguin signings. I'm not exactly sure the reasoning behind the bringing back Evan Rodriguez. Like I said, I read that he's a hard worker. He did great in camp and everything like that, but there's no scoring touch there. Mark Jankowski, they're actually hoping that he can go back to his ways that he was in Calgary. Let me get to I'll get to his stats here for a second. His first season with Calgary, played 72 games, had 17 goals, 8 assists, 25 points. Second season, full season with Calgary, 79 games, 14 goals, 18 assists, 32 points. Last year, he only played 56 games. He had 5 goals, 2 assists, and he was a -12. I think he kind of fell out of favor is what I read. Those things kind of happen. Certain coaches like guys and certain coaches don't. I mean, it happens. I still trying to figure out this team, what the lines may be. If you go Crosby, Zucker, Kapanen, Malkin, Gensel, and Rust, and your third line, I mean, who do you put as your third line? Teddy Bluger, Brandon Tanev, and Jared McCann. And then your fourth line is Colton Sevier, Zach Aston-Reese, Mark Jankowski, Evan Rodriguez. That's still not enough scoring depth for me from your bottom six. Granted, I think Teddy Bluger could do that if they would get him off of that fourth line role where he's an energy guy with Tanev and Zach Aston-Reese. I think that if they put Jared McCann, Teddy Bluger, and Brandon Tanev together, that's a speedy line. You put Jared McCann back on his wing where he should be instead of playing center. That's a very fast line that could be a good third line. And then you put, like I said, you put Sam Lafferty, Jankowski, and Evan Rodriguez, 3 centers on that fourth line, and they all have decent size also. The Penguins did decent in the the draft, drafting 2 goaltenders. I know you need to stock back up on your system because you only have Casey DeSmith backing up Tristan Jarry as of right now. Your system does need to stock back up. I'm at a loss with them drafting back-to-back goaltenders. Both of them are, from what I've read, are stud goaltenders. They both have amazing upsides. It's just, I'm not exactly sure if there's going to be another deal made to free up some more cap space to bring in maybe another bottom 6 winger, somebody that can score. Maybe that's what they're hoping Jankowski can do. Heard the terrible rumor today on NHL Network XM radio that the possibility of Vegas keeping half of Fleury's salary and him being traded to Pittsburgh. There's no way there's no way cap wise that can work unless they are able to move Chris Letang and another salary. There would be no way they could financially still bring in a goaltender that could I love Fleury. Don't get me wrong. He's the nostalgic guy. Everybody wants to see him back. Everybody loves Fleury. I don't blame anybody. But when you tell Tristan Jarry with a 3-year contract that he is your guy and you trade the guy that he was trying to beat out, you don't bring a guy in that is a fan favorite and has been for the last 15, 16 years to supplant that. You can hurt his confidence. You can hurt his development. I don't think it's one of the greatest ideas in the world. Give me a second here. The cap situation with it, though, is the Penguins have $2.568 million. They have $2.6 million. Let's say 2.5. That's not enough. That's enough just to cover part of his salary that will be coming here, unless you get a third team to jump in on that and pick up some of that, like a Detroit who needs to get to the salary floor, which I'm honestly thinking that they may have hit that today with some of the guys they signed in free agency today. They signed Riley Barber, Kevin Boyle, and there's give me a second here. Computer's running a little slow. There it is. Detroit Red Wings. They are right now, they have $25 million in cap space. The cap space they need to hit, they need to spend $4 million roughly. As of right now, under contract, they have Dylan Larkin, Franz Nielsen, Darren Helm, Valtteri Filppula, Bobby Fabry, Luke Glendening, Bobby Ryan, Adam Aaron, Philip Sedina, Sam Gagne, who they signed today, Tyler Bertuzzi, Anthony Mantha, and Dmytro Timshov. I've never heard of the kid before. It must be a fourth liner, I guess. They have on defense, they have Mark Stahl, who was trying, and John Merrill. Philip Hronik is one of the kids who is very promising for them. He came to be a pleasant surprise when the kid's 22 years old. He's a right defenseman. He became like our next Nicholas Lidstrom. Kid's very good. I was surprised with him. He had I think he had 38 points this year, which was pretty darn close to John Marino numbers. But yeah, the Ottawa Senators are $8 million away from the cap floor. Buffalo is 7.4. Devils are 4.4. The Red Wings are $4 million. Excuse me, I can't remember exactly what I said. The Colorado Avalanche actually are $1.5 million under the cap floor that they have to be compliant with, which is surprising considering the guys that they have on their roster, which we're going to take a peek at right now. They have 4 guys that are restricted free agents, so they can re-sign those guys. They're going to be actually in this same situation next year. They have a bunch of free agents again next year, like Gabriel Landeskog, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Matt Calvert. They'll all be free agents. See what they do. Defensive-wise, they really have only 4 guys under contract. Eric Johnson, Samuel Girard, Ian Cole, and Cale Makar. Cale Makar is going to end up getting a huge payday considering he won Rookie of the Year. Just an amazing defenseman. But the other guys that the Penguins, let's try to get this working again. Penguins also signed forward Josh Curry to a contract. It's a 1-year deal. It's a 2-way deal, so he'll end up in Wilkes-Barre for $700,000. Let's take a look at the draft picks. If I can get this to work, so we can be right on where we need to be. I'm struggling here. The Joe Blomqvist was their second round pick, 21st pick in the second round. Kale Klang actually found out by Jim Bolano, the Penguins PR director. She texted him and asked him if he had any video of him finding out that he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins, and his response was, "No, thank you for telling me. I just found out now. I was in the middle of a game and we went to overtime." He's like, "I'm super excited. I do not have any video of it, but thank you for letting me know. I'm super excited to join the Pittsburgh Penguins." After he showered and got cleaned up, threw a suit on, and did a little video, which I can actually share with you guys later. Kid seems he's got an amazing head on his shoulders. From what I have read, that he's actually more ready than Blomqvist is. Blomqvist needs a little bit of develop, but Kale Klang actually is a left-handed catching goaltender, which means he catches with his right hand instead of his left, like 99% of your other goaltenders in the league. Joel Blomqvist actually is a straight-up right-handed goaltender, which means he catches in his left hand. Lucas Svakovsky was a center they drafted in the 4th round. Ralvis Ansons actually plays with the Penguins pick from last year, Nathan Legare. Nathan Legare instantly tweeted him and said, "Welcome aboard." He's like, "I can't wait for us to play together again in Pittsburgh." And then the Penguins' last pick, they traded away their 7th round pick to Washington for considerations for draft picks for next year. Chase Yoder, another center from the U.S. 18U club, which that U.S. 18 and under group for the past couple of years has been amazing. There's a lot of good talent that's come out of that. We seem to have a good problem to have now with, goaltenders in the system. You'll have Tokarski and Emil Alarmi back at Wilkes-Barre, Alex Dorio, and they may sign another goaltender, because I think these 2 guys that they drafted are going to go back to their junior teams, which actually they're already in season. So a lot of these guys that have been drafted you won't see for another at least 2, maybe 3 years, which is not a bad thing. Few other notes was Taylor Hall is on the move. Not exactly sure where he's going to end up. I did not see if he did. I could check right now. See where he is. He has not signed with anyone yet. Philip Hollander re-signed with Toronto for 3 more seasons at $764 per. He's 20 years old. He's still on loan. He'll probably still play over in Europe. But yeah, the Penguins, I mean, it's still free agency. You still can make some deals. It's other good news to have. I mean, the camps will be opening November 15th, which is, pretty much a month away. Tentatively right now, the start date is January 1st. There will probably be no Winter Classics or Stadium Series this year. The other problem is the borders are still closed COVID-wise. Most likely they will have the Canadian teams play in a couple cities in the United States. That way they don't have to worry about travel, things like that. They can probably, possibly use a college like North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Minnesota. They might be able to use a couple of the universities to help them out. With the COVID thing, and then they'll probably play. They could honestly play in bubble cities possibly to start the season again. It'll be like 4 or 5 bubble cities, and they could probably play as one division as a Canadian division if they actually stay in Canada. There's been mixed rumors going around, which, I mean, honestly, they still have time to figure it out. The bubble city thing wasn't bad. You had 24 teams starting in 2 bubble cities, and it worked out perfectly fine. So adding 6, 7, 8 more teams to the mix, it's not. I don't think it would be too much of a problem if you add a 3rd bubble city to it. The fun fact is, all the COVID testing was all positive. They had not one negative test, or not one positive test. Excuse me, I said that backwards. Which is huge. I mean, that's insane to know that there was over 5,000 tests administered over that 2.5 month span, and not one issue. And that I commend the NHL for that. But we're gonna probably have another show here next week, and then to finalize all the free agent moves and stuff like that, and then I'll probably be off for a week or 2 to build up for the training camps and everything, I guess. And other news, we have the NWHL, the National Women's Hockey League. Had some interesting news today. Danny Ryland, who's the commissioner of the league, said that they were talking about expanding, and Pittsburgh was one of the names on the list of cities to get a expansion team from the NWHL. A few years ago, they had their all-star game here up at the Lemieux Sports Complex. It was amazing. Those ladies can play, they can hit, they can skate, they can score. Every bit of it's just as exciting as the NHL game. These girls are a little bit smaller, a few of them. Pittsburgh's quite a hotbed for female hockey players. I know there's quite a few high schools that have, girls hockey teams. That's great news for them. It gets them something to look forward to here and possibly stay home or stay close. Because the NWHL has the Boston Pride, New York Riveters. They have a few other teams, the Buffalo Buttes. I can't name them all because it's been a little bit of time since I really researched it. But that would be fantastic news if they do get an expansion team here for the NWHL. Most likely they probably would play at the Lemieux Complex because I think it's roughly 3,000 seats, give or take. It'd be actually really cool. I mean, it's a great time, a great event. And plus it's a boost to women all over the area, boost to young girls to get interested more into the game, to show them that they can play too. I mean, it's a great thing. So hopefully, and good luck to them. Hopefully they do bring a team here, which would be amazing. But as of right now, we're going to jump off. Got a lot of work to do on my own. So everybody have a good night. Have a great weekend. I'll come back to you next week with any more free agent news or trades or anything like that. Till then, we'll see you next week and enjoy it.